What's up, guys? It's Casey Zogelman, aka the fourth Sanderson sister, coming at you with another Hocus Pocus theory. In today's video, I'm going to share my thoughts on what sort of secondary power each of the Sanderson sisters might hold within them. We know their three main powers and their knowledge of spellcasting, but their innate abilities might be able to stretch even farther. So these are my thoughts on what extra magic may lie in the Sanderson sisters. And before we get started, just want to clarify, this is not a real tattoo. This was a failed April Fool's prank on my coworkers because it was so stinking cold in my department that my long sleeves were rolled down all day, so they couldn't really see my temporary tattoo. I was trying to make them think I got a tattoo when they know I am scared to death of needles. Speaking of April Fool's pranks, again, before we get started, if you're following Hocus Pocus Guide, they pulled a good one on us on April Fool's Day. Oh my goodness. They posted a really good fan-made poster that was like, there was a new subtitle added to Hocus Pocus 2 to differentiate it from the first one, and it was called Sista Act, and I was just sitting there going, what? When did they do this? And then the more I read through the post, it was like, and please don't tell Disney that this was a horrible idea because it's an April Fool's prank. And I was like, you sons of guns! I almost dropped everything that I had planned for Monday and made a video on this. Oh my gosh, that was a good one. So, good on you guys. That was funny. So anyway, back to the video. These are my thoughts on what extra magic may lie within the Sanderson sisters. Let's start with the eldest, Winifred. Winifred, as we know, can produce lightning bolts from her fingers. She also holds the spell book, which gives her access to even more magical options, but that doesn't necessitate the spell book as part of her innate power. Her special power is the lightning bolts. If she allowed the other two to mess with book, they would be able to use book just the same. So, book is not her secondary magic. If Winifred were to have a secondary unique power similar to her first, I feel it too would derive from an element of nature. Taking into account her personality, her drive, and, absolutely her short temper, we can gather that the next element she'd be adept at casting would be fire, which might actually have some credence to it, with the information we know about their childhood flashback in the sequel, that the village that they were children in gets burned to the ground, not get, use your correct grammar, gets burned to the ground. I mean, I'm just saying. Fire is a destructive force of nature that is ruthless once it gets going. Just like Winifred. The more fuel you add to a fire, the bigger, brighter, and hotter it burns. The more Winifred becomes agitated and angry, the more her power is used and it is stronger. That anger is fuel to her like kindling is to fire. So it would make sense that when she hits a new level of anger, she'd be able to cast devastating emerald flames from her palms and fingertips like she does with the lightning bolts. Let's say a certain sister gets on her nerves for the last time and has done something incredibly wrong. That would take the lightning to fire status. So Winifred's secondary magic would be the elemental casting of fire. The second-born Sanderson sister, Mary, has far and wide the most unimpressive power of the trio, heightened sense of smell for tracking. She does well with what she has, and there's no doubt about that. Not to mention it is probably the most practical of the powers, but it is not in any shape or form grandiose. However, given the circumstances of her birth, I believe that is simply the tip of the iceberg with her powers. Her father, as we know, was a bloodhound, and that in itself presents an interesting dynamic for her magic due to her bloodline. Yes, this provides excellent reasoning as to why her senses are heightened, but I believe there's more to it than that. She has canine DNA in her blood, and if she were to practice, I think Mary's secondary power would be shape-shifting. Specifically, shape-shifting into canines. She'd begin with the canine that flows through her veins, the bloodhound, but with some study and practice, Mary would be able to extend that range to all breeds of dog, be they domesticated or wild, like wolves and dingoes. Mary, of course, most definitely has the potential to shapeshift. Given the magic she's already using, all she has to do is focus on harnessing the power of her canine blood to get it going. Likely it would take increasing her heart rate, like when dogs go out and play. If she were to have a good running start, I believe she would change to another form. Because if you notice, whenever in the movie when she gets excited about something, or she's really hot on the trail of something, or etc., etc., she really demonstrates her canine side a lot more that during those moments. You see that come out more. So, and these are usually more high pressure situations, specifically like when Thackeray Binks at the beginning is kind of invading the house and destroying everything. That's a pretty high pressure situation to be in, and that was one of the first times, well, second time I think, we hear her bark and demonstrate her canine abilities. I really truly think increasing her heart rate would give her the boost to shapeshift for the very first time. So Mary's secondary power is shapeshifting. Lastly, let's talk about the youngest Sanderson, Sarah. We already know her magic is the most potent and, frankly, probably the most dangerous. Hypnotic suggestion through her vocal magic suggests that her range can grow to affect humans of all ages, not only children. However, for fights, it isn't as useful. She could, however, learn to manipulate her vocal powers in a way that it could both hypnotize when used one way and hurt someone when used another way. Fans all over always compare her to a siren, which is fair with the hypnotic voice thing, but if let's look at it from the perspective of a siren. Could she not use the screeching of a siren as well? Yes, she could. Sarah's secondary power, for a lack of a better term, would be a sonic screech. Harnessing her vocal powers in this way would allow Sarah defense and offense in a witch fight, or if she was up against scrappy teenagers like Max and Allison. Screeching at different pitches would also allow for more power and a side effect like deafening her opponent temporarily. Or permanently, depending on how hard she goes. The force from the scream could also act as like a blowback spell, like the Bombarda charm in Harry Potter. It would be a very good secondary power for her to have, because as we know, in the graveyard fight, Sarah's the only other sister we see fighting aside from Winifred. We don't know where Mary just disappears to during the first few minutes of that fight. Sarah's the one going after Allison. So, if she had had that power in that moment, Allison could have easily been knocked off her feet and temporarily be incapacitated. I mean, it would have been an interesting dynamic for her to have that power. So Sarah's secondary power would be sonic screeching. Well, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on what secondary powers the Sanderson sisters could hold. Winifred would have power over emerald flames, Mary is a shapeshifter, and Sarah can sonic screech. What do you guys think? Do you agree with my choices, or do you have another idea for what their secondary powers could be? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you're new to my channel, please drop a like and subscribe if you haven't. It's free, it helps me, and what helps me helps you guys get more great content like this. I'm trying very hard to get us to 1,000 subscribers before Hocus Pocus 2 drops on tentatively October 1st. I'm going to be doing a full watch along and have it up on release day or the day after, depending on what goes on, as long as nothing goes wrong. Knock on wood. And it would be awesome to have 1,000 of you here for that, because we're going to have a lot of fun watching this movie together, because y'all are probably going to be watching me cry through 90% of it, because I'm just so happy at that point. If you're a regular on the channel, remember to hit the like button and share your thoughts below, as I know you guys are awesome at doing. And remember to participate in the 2 new posts I have put up in the community board. The first one is content idea dropped. So if you guys want to submit ideas for content, find the post with the GIF of this. And the second post is for my Q&A session that will be taking place April 30th. I need your questions by April 28th, so I have the 29th to film and edit it. Thank you. Everybody is limited to 3 questions. Please, please, please keep the questions appropriate. And by appropriate, I mean PG. Maybe PG-13. But the rule for this is, if you think you're going to cross a line with the creator, you should probably not ask that question. That was something I had to deal with this morning, and I do not like doing that, because I want everybody to be able to participate, but you have to follow that rule. Please keep it appropriate, be it Hocus Pocus, or like, what's your favorite food, or have you ever watched this show? That kind of stuff. Nothing too personal, please, because that's when we get into some really awkward territory, and I don't want to do that. Okay, cool. So yeah, please find that post with this GIF and drop your questions down there, because I am looking forward to doing another one of those sessions. It was a lot of fun last time, and we're doing it again. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Casey Zolgelman, aka the 4th Sanderson Sister, and I will see you guys next time.